Allegedly.
It all checks out to me. Allegedly.
All right, so anyway, Paul, you know what Dana White said at the post-fight presser? Jon Jones has stepped away. Tom Aspinall is now the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Congrats for him. Round of applause. But what were your thoughts when you initially heard that news?
I mean, I was just waiting for it to happen, because I'd been one of the guys that was getting very unsure and doubting the fact that fight was going to happen. I kind of knew it was coming. I'm glad, and I was kind of happy that finally, okay, at least I said it from the beginning. Like, I just want clarity. If you don't want to fight Tom and you're worried about whatever, or you have too much going on in your life, then just leave. And he finally did. And it sucks for Dana and the UFC too, because it sounds like they had it, right? He was pretty clear. We had it agreed upon, and then he changed his mind. So, I mean, there was reasons for us to have faith at one point. So that confirms that to us too, that we weren't wrong in thinking that it looked like it was going to happen. I mean, Tom thought it was going to happen. Dana seemed to think it was going to happen, and then Jon changed his mind, and it sucks.
Well,
it sucks for Tom, but at least now he can go, okay, who is it going to be? I'm the champ. That's it.
Well, Tom said on this very show about a year ago that he would retire Jones without fighting him, and that is doing the rounds everywhere. Now, I had ESPN, I had Bleacher Report, I had a bunch of big news outlets saying, can we use this clip? I'm like, yeah, go ahead, just give us a little credit.
Yeah,
no, he said it and he did it. I mean, so Jones, obviously, we don't need to go through the career. Great career, unbelievable career. And since he came out, a lot of people have, been celebrating and saying, amazing, Jon Jones, congratulations on having a once in a lifetime career and this, that, and the other and all the rest of it. However, there's a big but. If he'd have retired when he beat Stipe, that's his choice. He doesn't owe anything to anybody. But he did tease and dangle a carrot and say that he'd fight Tom. And obviously Tom represents the real challenge, the proper test at heavyweight. Critics will say that he ducked Ngannou and he ducked Tom Aspinall. I think, I don't know if I necessarily think that he did 100% duck. I think there's an element of ducking here going on. I think there's an element of him saying, shit, that ain't going to be an easy fight. But I think when you factor in the money that he's made so far, apparently from this lawsuit next month, he's going to get like $7 million. So there's another $7 million that he's going to get.
Yeah.
I think when you factor in that he says he hasn't trained since last November, he's flying around the world, living his best life. He's enjoying himself. He's partying, Historically, he's always been a bit of a party animal. I can't judge him for that. We all like to enjoy ourselves and unwind, and whatever you like to do in your spare time, fair play. He's always shown up. He's always won his fights. But I think when you combine all of that, and then you combine it with what just came out, this latest incident in Albuquerque with the police involved, and we'll get into that in a second. I think you put all of it into it. He's like, you know what? I don't need the stress of preparing for Tom Aspinall. I've got the money. I've had the career and all the rest. I guess the real question is, will his legacy be affected? And I think by new Johnny-come-lately fans, it will. I think more OG fans of the sport will always know what he did. But it's not a great way to end potentially the greatest career.
No. I guess the argument would be that if he had decided to take the Tom fight, it could have been his legacy ending with being potentially beaten and asleep on the floor, which I think we'd remember even more, but at least we would have given him credit for stepping in. But yeah, you're right. I do think there's an asterisk next to the GOAT status. I mean, I think you can't ever argue what he's accomplished and what he's did, but anybody that knows and is in the know will always know that he could have been even so much more if he could have just dialed in a little bit more and not let his life outside of the octagon be an absolute mess. Because
I disagree with that a little bit. I think some certain people, like a Mike Tyson, like Jon Jones, certain people, they need that kind of madness, and that's the way they'll always be. That and they are just, that's who they are.
But look at Mike Tyson's life is no much better. He was broke as a joke for how many years? And
100%. But some of those people that have that they're crazy in every aspect of life, it helps them in the octagon as well. It helps them be a great fighter, you know. But
I guess we'll
this
never know.
latest thing,
That's the thing.
I think if he'd have fought Stipe, and even if he got flatlined, I think people would have still had respect and said, well, you know what? The man's almost 40. There's always going to be the next kid on the block. I think the fact that he pretended that he wanted to fight it for a while, that he danced around it for so long, that he wouldn't accept it straight away, that he didn't say, yeah, listen, I'm the heavyweight champion. Now I got to fight the interim champ because there's some chump out there with a belt claiming to be the champ. Line it up, Dana. Let's go in 2 months. I'm ready to rock. I just beat Stipe. The fact he didn't do that, it's not the best look. However, the division gets to move on. Fair play to Tom. Dana came out and said that they're going to compensate Tom for the time that he's been sitting around on the sidelines. So I don't know what that looks like, but Tom's going to be a wealthy man. I think he defends the belt many times, as many times as he chooses to, and then walks away off into the sunset. Maybe he's the greatest heavyweight, maybe he's the greatest to ever do it, and of course, a very, very wealthy man. But let's dive with the help of Mike Harrington.
Yeah, I need more details. I haven't heard all these details yet.
I was reading it on the way home, the very, very long flight that I had. Harrington, give us the breakdown, the play-by-play, the police reports.
So ABQ, Albuquerque Police, was investigating a traffic crash near his home. The officer came across a woman in the front passenger seat of one of the cars, exhibiting signs of significant intoxication and lacking clothes from the waist down. The woman said Jones was the driver, but had fled the scene on foot. She then picked up the phone and called Jones. He said the officer said he appeared to be heavily intoxicated and made statements implying his capacity to employ lethal force through third parties, but would not answer direct questions about whether or not he was Jon Jones. Jones was interviewed a few days later and said that the woman was at his house but had left without him, and he just got a call on the phone from her later. She says she was partying at his house. They had done mushrooms and they were partying. And the last thing she remembers is driving, like she blacked out at the house. Last thing she remembers is being in the car with Jones at the wheel.
So we're just going to make sure this is alleged for lawsuit reasons. We don't want to get a lawsuit on our hands.
Yep.
Allegedly, she was partying with Jon Jones. She's partying with a horrible.
You're mixing
not
up.
unusual to be loved by anyone. Anyway, Tom Jones. I can stop saying that because for years now I've been getting Tom and Jones mixed up.
Yeah.
So she was doing mushrooms with John, apparently, drinking heavily. They've gone out. They've got into a car crash. Apparently, because Harrington missed out a couple of details, not giving you shit. There was a bathroom incident or a bathroom emergency. She was found in the car naked from the waist down. That means maybe a few things, but I would say either some sexual encounter or she shit her pants because of the drugs and the alcohol or whatever. She shit her pants, went to clean herself up in a restroom at a gas station somewhere. Jones is outside, allegedly. They jump in the car. He crashes the car and looks around. Crashed car, damage everywhere. He's shit faces.
Out of here.
Covered in crap, sliding down a leg, and he thought, I'm getting out of here.
See ya. And it's it sounds. I mean, it all checks out to me. Allegedly, it checks out. It wouldn't surprise me.
There's one other note that I have here. Call records show Jones called her 13 times between the time of the crash and 11:34 a.m. the next day. There's also logs of text messages, but they weren't able to grab those from the call scraper.
So what Harrington? So what charges will he be looking at? I don't think it's going to be anything too serious, even though it is kind of allegedly it's a scummy move. But he's like, I'm the champion of the world. I'm a well-known guy. I've got form.
Not anymore. Former.
Well.
Former. Yeah, 2 divisions.
When did this happen? This happened back in February, right?
This happened back in February.
Oh, so then he was. Okay, yeah.
The Journal has learned a criminal summons accusing Jones, 37, of a misdemeanor charge of leaving the scene of an accident in February. That was filed Tuesday.
And that's, and by the way, I'm not justifying him, but fleeing the scene of a crime compared to police show up, you're hammered behind the wheel of a car, you've crashed a car, you've been in this situation before. There's a woman who's naked from the waist down for some reason, possibly with shit running down her leg.
We don't know. Allegedly.
We don't know. But she had a bathroom emergency. Like, I'm not saying I'd do the same thing, but I think I might get the hell out of there as well.
Yeah, I'd like to think I'm not in that situation, but you're probably right. If I'm looking around going, all right, well, if they get me now, I mean, I'm definitely F. They're going to get me anyway. They're better off getting me tomorrow morning. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'll see you later. I wasn't there. I wasn't in
No, none of us were. And we're having a bit of a laugh because, of course, it's naked.
Bathroom emergencies. Those shrooms, man, sometimes you take them and the tummy can upset you depending on how they took them. If they like ate them for real, like actual shrooms. And I don't think they were microdosing. You know what I mean? I think they were dosing. So yeah, you can absolutely, you can get a little sick.
So allegedly they're having a major bad trip. They're tripping their balls off. They've crashed the car. She shit her pants. And he's like, oh my God, I almost feel for him. So going back to what we said then, I think you piece all this together, you know, and the money and the career.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not dealing with all this anymore.
I don't need to. And he's going to get $6-7 million from this lawsuit soon as well. Yeah. He's like,
he's still going to get people like the reality show or the Ultimate Fighter of Russia, whatever he was doing. He's still going to get crazy offers for people to have Jon Jones around and doing things. You know, he's still Jon Jones. Yeah, and again, I'm just glad that it's done. At least he finally made them come out and say it, and it's official, and we can see who Tom's going to fight next. And you know, maybe he comes back, maybe he doesn't, but at least it makes Tom now the champion, and we're not just holding up that division. So yeah, ultimately, I was happy to hear it that it's just settled.
All right, today's episode is sponsored by Cash App, and they are here to make it a breeze, to make it simple, to make it just foolproof for sending and receiving money to people. You know the score. You lend someone some money. Oh, I haven't got it on me. When I have the cash on me, I'll give it to you. Not with Cash App. Boom. One touch of a button. It is in your bank account. Simple as that. No sending it to wrong people. No messing around. Get the cash that you owe or that you owe to someone. Sent, simple, easy, fast, and reliable. Cash App is a safe, easy, and fast way to send, receive, and transfer money to family and friends. Instant setup. It was very, very easy. Just enter your phone or your email and some other basic information. No bank account needed. And there is no waiting. The money will show up straight away. No waiting around for days. It's your money. You shouldn't have to wait. And the best thing about it is that for a limited time, new Cash App users can use our exclusive code to earn additional cash. For real, there's no catch. Just download the Cash App and sign up. Use the exclusive referral code, BELIEVE, in your profile. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days and you will get $10 dropped in your account. Terms apply. That's money. That is Cash App. That is the way to send money in 2025.